gain inspiration to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peace that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I want to welcome you to a fantastic Friday. Really excited to talk to my guest today, Jahleel Vestor, an amazing person who is not only a real estate broker, but also business education coordinator with Urban Impact. So I'm so glad that he is here to join us. And later on in the show, I get to tap in with my girl, Besa Gordon. Y'all know her as the phenomenal host of Back2Besa on Fox. And also, y'all know that she still is amazing on iHeart Radio on multiple stations in multiple states. So I'm so excited to talk to her about the Sankofa Theater film Inscape, the finale. I'm so glad that we get to dive in deep on that amazing film. But of course, you know it is the top of the show, so it's a perfect time for you to help us grow. Go ahead and tag and share the stream with folks who you feel could benefit from a daily dose of dopeness right here on The Day with Trae. If you can't watch our TV show, we still got you covered because you can listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network in The Day with Trae. You'll find me on whichever platform is your favorite. There's like 200 of them. You also just search for us. You'll find us there. Well, up next, we got Jahleel Vestor in the building. And I've been so impacted by Urban Impact out in community. So I'm glad he's here to give us some details. What's up, Jahleel? How are you?
Hey, I'm excited. This space is amazing. It's beautiful. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. First time in the Black Media Matters studio. So I'm glad that you made time for us today. You know, when we think about Urban Impact, a lot of folks might not know what the work is. Can you please explain a little bit about what Urban Impact does?
Oh yeah, so Urban Impact, I would say is Seattle's best kept secret because they've been doing the work for over 30 years in the community. So I have the pleasure of being on the economic development team. However, Urban Impact is multifaceted. So for example, I'll just kind of run through the list. We've got a 63 unit affordable living apartment complex that we have open to the community. It's fully booked out right now. There's a whole department literally set up to service those kids and families that are in that apartment complex. Underneath that space, we have Rainier Health and Fitness Community Center. So a lot of people in the community are working out there. They have the CrossFit gym as well. You see the senior citizens just book. Those classes are booked out like literally every day of the week. So that's one section of Urban Impact. We have a youth and prison ministry that goes on with Urban Impact as well. And then of course, our economic development department out here servicing the business people in Seattle.
I mean, honestly, I had no idea that there were so many different wings to Urban Impact. So I love that you broke it down and gave us that insight. I knew it was around for some time, but honestly, I thought that it was essentially, just servicing businesses. So I love that there's all of these other ways that y'all are providing resources and amazing spaces for community. How did you first get connected with Urban Impact?
Great question. So I got connected through my superior, which would be Andre Benjamin. So he's the vice president of our department. And we actually went to church together, started talking a lot, and then we just kind of fell off for a little bit and then just reconnected. And then I started asking him, because I'm like, man, what do you do? Like, he just is just a great, like, he's one of those men that you just want to have in your life, especially when you're a young professional man and you just like, there's something about this guy. So I started just asking him a bunch of questions like, what is the work that you're doing? And as he started opening up and telling me, like, yeah, he's helping people in the community and just building a department, I'm like, okay, I want to be a part of that. And so Andre got me into the work and I love it.
Well, obviously before that, you had some impetus that already had you kind of in that sector of work. Tell us about your beginning specifically.
Okay, so my beginning after graduating college in 2018, which is crazy thing about time just keeps moving without our permission, sorry, Trae. So yeah, I graduated college in 2018. Had a business management major and a minor in accounting, and I thought I was going to join the Air Force. So both my parents were in the Navy, so my dad worked on planes, my mom was admin. I was like, okay, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. Little did I know, after reading a couple books, I discovered real estate. And that's actually what I ended up getting into in 2018. So I was a mortgage loan officer for 4.5 years, became a real estate broker, and I just love, honestly, I love real estate. I love helping people grow wealth in real estate, and that part of the business has literally, I mean, my undergrad has prepared me for this. The business that I do to this day has prepared me for this. So it's one thing to have a degree and then maybe consult with people that are in business and say, oh yeah, I got a degree in business, so I can tell you about business. It's a whole nother conversation when you're actually doing business. Like, then you can understand, this is what it feels like to lose a deal. And then of course, like, the wins are great, but this is what it feels like to prospect. This is what it feels like to handle rejection. This is what it feels like to have a goal and have to strive to it and be able to see everyone else's highlights, but not their lowlights, and think, what the heck am I doing? Like, am I even adequate or worthy for someone to work with me, and, you know, have the whole imposter syndrome and to work through those things. But step by step, when you have good mentors in your life that are encouraging you and speaking life into you, eventually you find yourself striving, and next thing you know, you look back and like, hey, look at the gap of where I came from. Like, the things that I wanted are starting to magically almost show up in my life. You know, and so I'm just grateful for the career that I have, because I get to be connected with people. And then through Urban Impact, I literally have an organic way of touching lives, literally by just showing up and saying, how can I help? That's literally it.
This is really, I love it, because there's so much that you have to have in order to help and serve people like that, right? Like, right. It has to be feeding something internally within you. So I love hearing your background. And then, you know, specifically the work you're doing at Urban Impact, tell us more about your role there and how you're servicing and helping folks.
Absolutely. So at Urban Impact, our department, I would say, if there's anything that we specialize in as an economic development department, it's training. So especially through the pandemic, we pivoted to start offering virtual trainings. So we've had people take our classes from all the way from Portland, Oregon, which is super dope. So I'll give some examples. We had Monica Matthews, for example, of Queen Care. And she came through one of our programs. She's one of our alumni. I believe she was a Sharks at the Beach alumni, and she now has her business storefront on 23rd in Jackson. We've got people like Evelyn Ray Wilson. So Urban Impact was invited to speak on the panel at the Women in Business Expo Group Leadership Luncheon, March 9th. At the Rainier Beach Community Center. And Deborah Horn, you know, Emmy Award winning, Gracie Award winning, she was the keynote speaker. So we spoke on the panel, and next thing you know, we go to eat. So everyone's just kind of chilling. I decided to go eat with people that are in the community, because I wanted to kind of get to know people, right? And this lady comes up, her name's Evelyn, and she's like, actually, I won Sharks at the Beach in 2020. I just wanted to let y'all know that. And so we're like, okay, you know, gave her a bow, reigning champ. But she did this thing in 2020. Her business was an idea. In 2024, she's actually conducting business. And something I like about Evelyn is that afterwards, like, we all got done eating, we're about to listen to Deborah's keynote, and she walked around to every person in the room and asked them, hey, how was the food? Did it taste good? How was the service? Is there anything that you like? Is there anything that you would change? Just give me feedback. And I'm like, that is the epitome of entrepreneurship and someone that wants to grow, because it just tells me that her service or her love for service is bigger than her ego. So, like, shout out to her. And we have tons of stories like hers. Yeah.
You know, when we think about some of the ways that Urban Impact is making that impact, it's through also investment into businesses. I mean, they need resources to start. They need resources to sustain. Tell us more about how y'all are using that Sharks on the Beach. What is it?
Yes.
Like, it's like Shark Tank, but y'all are doing it locally. Tell us more.
100%. So thank you for bringing that up. So the Sharks at the Beach pitch competition, I believe this is like our 14th annual, and we've been giving away more than $10,000 every single year for like the past 14 years in this program. So a lot of local businesses right here in Seattle have gotten their structure and their seed money to start their business from this program. So essentially how it works is we get them going about 12 weeks before the pitch competition. And these are just people that they have an idea and they want to make it reality. So we take them from ideation to execution is kind of the framework. Over 12 weeks, we'll help them identify their target customer, their business model canvas, how they should structure, and ultimately what we believe is business is a system. So most people think that, oh, I'm in business, I'm big CEO, I'm gonna work 40 hours a week, 80 hours a week because I'm just gonna grind. And we're like, no, work backwards. One of the books that is a part of our core framework is the E-Myth Revisited by Michael E. Gerber. And he says that business is a system that pays you whether you show up or not. So we help them work backwards from there with that understanding over 12 weeks, and then we help them organize their value proposition and pitch it in 3 minutes or less. They get to compete against their peers, and then top dog wins top prizes.
Well, this is important because we need this kind of amazing, not only pipeline to educate folks on how to create their businesses and sustain their businesses, but also like the idea that then you're creating camaraderie with business owners and those who are at the same level with ideation before they get going on their business. So that's really beautiful. Jahleel, I really appreciate you making time today. Of course, before I let you go, if folks are like, hey, I need to tap in, I need resources, I want to learn more, I want you to look right there in that camera. Let them know how they do so.
Okay, so I'm gonna look in this camera, but I have one last story. Her name's Hannah Fuchigami, all right? She was employed, all right? She was in the tech space, and while her work was serving her, she was not fulfilled. So during the pandemic, she was able to take some space to figure out, hey, people need connection, people are isolated, and she came through our Thrive cohort, and next thing you know, she went from employed to self-employed, and now she's an employer. And so that's really the things that we do at Urban Impact. We live through the stories of our entrepreneurs, and we really do live through everyone else's success. So if you want to tap in, if you're interested in being a part of one of our programs, you can simply find us at urbanimpactseattle.com. Or .org, excuse me. So it'll be in the byline. So check that out, urbanimpactseattle.com. And then we're also on YouTube. Every Friday at noon, we go live as a team to give entrepreneurial education and inspiration.
Jahleel, first off, I gotta appreciate your passion for the work you do, and I love how you just described Urban Impact lives through the stories of those y'all serve and help get to the next level. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that he found you because you need people like you who are deeply passionate about this work to continue and carry it forward. Thanks so much for joining me. Anytime y'all have anything going on, just know you can be right here on The Day with Trae to share that.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna take you up on it, and I want to just thank you for this opportunity. Real talk, I met you at the Reign of Style hair show. Aisha Ellis, one of our other alumni, has been running that thing for 10 years. I just wanna say thank you for inviting me to be in this space. This is honestly just for me personally, I'm blown away by what you and Converge are doing, and in this space, it was intimidating. This is real talk, production, stuff. So anyways, this was my favorite scent from her product line. So this is Monica Matthews Queen Care Mango Shea Cream. Yay. And so I just wanted to gift that to you and say thank you. Yes,
I will cherish it, Jahleel. Thank you. And I love Queen Care products, so you didn't go wrong.
Okay, yeah, they're fire.
Y'all, of course, for me, Jahleel is inspiring, and it's clear that he cares about the people he is serving there at Urban Impact. Make sure you go to the website, learn how you can tap in. If you are someone who has an idea and you need to make it a business, they are the ones here to support and guide you. Up next, y'all, my girl, Besa Gordon is in the building. I'm so excited to talk to her about this amazing film that she was the producer on, y'all. I'm stoked. We're going to be learning all about the Sankofa Inscape finale right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Hello, welcome to Elite Insights with Carlos Imani. We're looking to offer an in-depth look at event production industry through the lens of client experiences and joint successes. The podcast will emphasize guest interviews, focusing on clients, discussing their fields, and reflecting on their collaboration with Elite Collective. Again, you're with Elite Insights. Carlos Imani here. I'll see you guys in a few.
Big Tobacco thinks they know everything. They think they know you, your community, the places you go, the way that you spend your time. They think they got you all figured out, down to a formula, a calculation based off of numbers of what they think they know. Show them they're wrong. Learn more at theythinktheyknowyou.org.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me right now is my girl, Besa Gordon. What's up, Besa?
Hey, Trae.
It's always good to have you.
Well, it's good to be here.
I'm like, she's everywhere, and she still finds time for The Day with Trae every now and then. Thank you. Well, this is really exciting for me because Sankofa Theater was an amazing space of cultural hub and production. And before we get into the discussion, I just want to kind of get our guests up to speed with this amazing trailer y'all put together for this film. Y'all check it out.
The ethereal vision is a vision of empowering our creatives, empowering talent, positive talent, not having to alter who we are in order to fit this industry, but really making this industry fit who we are.
She was providing a service for young people and for our community.
We're peeling back these layers and we're realizing, oh, there's a group of families who bought the building who have no intentions of it being an art space. If the community wants to see Sankofa continue and thrive, we're gonna actually need your support on this. And then 4 hours later, Elijah was murdered.
Save the Sankofa Theater.
Save Sankofa.
Save Sankofa.
Save Sankofa.
Save
Sankofa.
All right, Besa. I mean, that kind of sums up the reason to tell this phenomenal story, but it's also one of those things that's a loss of cultural space.
Absolutely.
Tell us why you wanted to produce this and bring it to the audience on Fox and continue this story.
I think it's kind of like what you just said. It was a loss of cultural space. You know, being in Seattle, as I want to say Omari always says, there's like so few Black people here that we can all fit in T-Mobile Park. So when we have our spaces, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a community center, whether it's a school, a daycare, grocery store, we lose that. That's a big blow to our community because with there being so few of us, we are not the majority of businesses out here. You know, how beautiful is it for us to actually have a Black-owned theater? But also how unfortunate is it for rent prices and other things within that business and what was happening on the back end to be the reason why we don't have that space anymore. And that's why I said that what I loved about Sankofa is that it was a space where you can unapologetically be yourself. You know, it was like a family reunion every single time we went in there. You're like, oh my goodness, you're here, you're here, you're here. You know, you're seeing poetry, you're seeing performances, you're hearing singing, but it's in our space, which makes it to where we can be us. So it was very important to capture what was happening and also capture that space before it was completely gone.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I love about Taymay saying, you know, I remember when she first started talking about it and I was just like, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense for her to be in that space, for her to be the guiding light to bring that out to the community. I mean, you have someone who grew up in the Central District, who is a part of a legacy family of the CD. You know, the Wakoma name rings bells in the CD, right? But then then she also went to California as a dancer, came back and said, you know what, I'm bringing my talent back home because there's a need for us to have some of the spaces she was experiencing there, here. But she also knew there was amazing talent here. Tell us about some of those nodes that you were able to pick up on for the reason for Sankofa's existence.
I think it was just that. I think what I love about Trae is that she's the type of person to see a void and be like, you know what, rather than complaining about it, I'm going to fill in that space. And that's what she was able to do with Sankofa, and of course, with the help of Elijah L. Lewis. She was like, look, he's the one that really pushed me to do it. And she's like, oh, how are we gonna do this? And he's like, yo, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. She's like, okay. And she trusted the process, and now you have Sankofa Theater. You know, with her having the background of dance and doing, you know, theater and doing makeup and just being in LA and doing all the things, of course she would want to have a space like that here. You know, it makes it to where it's like, man, when I go to LA, I have this, I have that. Why don't I have this at home too? Yeah. So why not create your own space?
I mean, you know, basically you're one who's traveling all over the place. And honestly, I think that there's something really special about our Black community here. And I've heard from so many folks who have lived in all of these other spaces like me, where it's like, look, being in DC, even being in Kenya, like there's something special about the Black community here. And you're right, we're small, but we're mighty. What are some of those nodes that you experienced through this story that really showcase that resilience of Black community here?
I think for one, everyone that came together that actually really did work to save Sankofa. You know, like once Trae put out that call, I don't know if you guys ended up seeing the reel, but she's like, look, this is like final countdown, you guys. If we're gonna save this, then we need to come together. Obviously, we weren't able to save Sankofa, but it doesn't mean that we did not try our hardest. It does not mean that we didn't make phone calls, we didn't show up, we didn't put on events. But even more so, Trae has not stopped. You know, it's like, yeah, it's unfortunate that Sankofa was something that is something that we don't have anymore. But what's beautiful is that it did not break down my sis all the way to where she's given up. You know, she's still looking for new spaces. She's looking for a place to reopen a Sankofa. Like Sankofa is not dead. It's just taking a nap for a second.
There you go. I love that. It's just taking a nap for a second. Well, Besa, you know, when you think about all the things that you've been able to do, I know the last time we had you here, we talked a bit about Back2Besa, but it's been a minute. And so I want the audience to hear some of the amazing things you've been able to take on as endeavors on Back2Besa.
Oh my goodness. You know, I think the most recent one was I went over to Spokane to do a panel out there. That was my first time ever flying to Spokane. I feel that I'm going to actually start paying the money and just calling it a day. I was able to host the Sports Star of the Year Awards red carpet for the second year in a row. But also, you know, we've told other stories like, you know, I Remember You. We've done Reunion on Union. We've done Bubble and Brown Sugar. Like, we've been able to tell some beautiful stories. And for me, as someone that's actually from Seattle, it was important for us to tell the stories and do it our way. You know, it's no disrespect or no offense to anyone else that's telling stories about our city, but a lot of these people are not from here. So their connection to the story and the person behind the story is completely different. You know, you go to Bubble and Brown. I've seen Khan at Bubble and Brown since I was in high school. You know what I mean? It's just a different vibe. Juneteenth is coming up in a few months. I've been going to Juneteenth for years, especially over at Othello Park. You know, like the things that happen within our community, for me, it's a different touch point because it's not okay, you need to go tell this story. You need to do this assignment. This is my home. And the way that I actually even got into blogging and into media was I felt like stories were being told, but they weren't being told in the way that I seen them and in the way that I felt that our community needed to hear or even know about it. So why not do it my way? So I would say I've had the opportunity to tell some beautiful stories, whether it's, you know, something serious, like I said, like I Remember You, or going over to Sports Star and talking with all the different athletes on the red carpet, being like, yo, what was your favorite sports moment? And we also can't forget hosting the All-Star red carpet.
Oh, see, I mean, you know, the beautiful thing is that, you know, your brand, you're building in such an organic way to you and your personality, and you're showing folks how to do it. And that's what's so beautiful about being able to have folks like yourselves really represent the community that you grew up in such a great way. I always got to ask, some of those things you're getting excited for as we move forward. You talked about some of these events coming up, because we already know the Summer of Soul series always goes down. But what are some other things you're really excited for as you continue this phenomenal work you're doing?
Oh, I'm going back to NAB in April, so hopefully I'll learn some really good things about AI. Jennifer Hudson's going to be there this year. Nessa, who was actually one of the reasons why I even got into radio. I remember listening to her on Cube when I was younger, and I was like, that sounds so cool. I want to do that. So hopefully I'll be able to meet them. But otherwise, really, Trae, I'm just excited to tell more stories. To be able to not only tell the story of Sankofa, and it's napping now because it's going to wake up very, very soon, but to also be able to premiere it on Fox. This is a platform that Back2Besa is on, but to actually be able to use this platform to be able to tell our stories and really push it out to the masses, I think that's what I'm really looking forward to, finding that next story that I feel is just gonna make me tingle a little bit, so that way I can get it out to the masses, while also telling our stories, highlighting businesses, highlighting artists, talking about the different events. I didn't realize that people would go so crazy when they found out about Vibe Bingo, but just highlighting those amazing things within our city and then also within our region, because I love my city, I love Seattle, but I like going to Portland also. I like going to Spokane. So yeah, more stories are coming.
More stories coming. Besa, keep up the great work, girl. I'm so excited for your journey, all the things you're doing. It is so needed here in our city. So I really appreciate you. And thank you for giving me some time today, girl.
Absolutely, thank you. And we have to do this before we leave. We have to, since we talked about Sankofa, we have to talk about the directors.
There we go.
Actually put it on. I might have had, some behind the scenes thoughts, but the people that are actually behind the camera that really create that visual. You got Brady McAtee, who was a director, Winfield Ezel Jr. as a producer, Sean Cooks, Alia. We also have yourself. It was a lot of us that were a part of this. I want to say Matt Bermudez was also a part of it. So, I just wanted to make sure I gave a quick nod to our production team before this ended, because I just wouldn't feel right without doing it.
This is why I got really excited to talk to you about it, because Sankofa was something that I was so excited to be just bringing my energy into it. And if Tame called, I'm going to come up. I'm going to pull up. I'm going to show up. I'm going to tap in. Don't tap out. So thank you, because, it was such a node of community that all of us were really pouring into. And I can't wait to see the next edition of Sankofa Theater. Of course, if folks are trying to tap in with you and they need to come to, watch Back2Besa, they need to hear you on the radio, let them know all the ways that they can connect, Besa.
Child. Well, shoot, the easy way is to find me on social media at Besa Gordon. But also, you can hear me in Seattle on Hits 106.1, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. I'm also on Sundays from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. If you're in the Portland area, I'm on there on Saturdays from 3 to 8. Back2Besa comes on Fox 13 Seattle, Saturdays at 10:30 p.m. It also comes on Fox 13 Plus Sundays at 10 a.m. Of course, if you're not in our area, child, download the free Fox local app. It is amazeballs. Just scroll over to Back2Besa, and then you'll be able to watch all of the past episodes. And also, let's see, whereweconverge.com/Back2Besa.
There it is. Besa, thanks so much, hon.
Thanks for having
Great
me,
work.
Trae. And thank you for what you're doing for our community. You are really creating a space for community members, community leaders, aspiring community leaders, just people that are doing great things within our community to actually have a voice and be able to talk and not feel rushed. It's a beautiful thing of what you are doing with The Day with Trae.
Thank you, sis.
Love you.
Love you. Oh, y'all, and she gonna get me over here in some tears. So we're gonna go ahead and go to break, y'all. I get to wrap all this up after this. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Africatown Plaza is our latest affordable housing development project. It's 126 units of affordable housing over community commercial space.
It's the first time in my career, and I've been doing this for 10 years, that I was able to design for people who look like me.
Africatown Plaza is a beacon of hope.
Africatown Plaza is a love letter to the community.
Hello, welcome to Elite Insights with Carlos Imani. We're looking to offer an in-depth look at event production industry through the lens of client experiences and joint successes. The podcast will emphasize guest interviews, focusing on client, discussing their fields, and reflecting on their collaboration with Elite Collective. Again, you're with Elite Insights. Carlos Imani here. I'll see you guys in a few.
Welcome back, y'all, to The Day with Trae. Y'all, just what a phenomenal week. Huge shout out to my guest today, Jahleel Vestor with Urban Impact, telling us all about the ways that he's so passionate to bring resources to businesses, helping them to start and continue to stay in business. And of course, huge shout out to my good sis, Besa Gordon, y'all. I'm telling you, it's really inspiring because in the world of media, you know, this week featuring Katie Hall and then Besa, but so many folks who are doing the work behind the scenes, as Besa talked about, with all those amazing directors and folks who are pouring into the production effort. It's so important that we continue to uplift these stories, y'all. And I'm so honored to be a part of this amazing community of media folks who care to make spaces and create places where you get to learn and be inspired by other folks' stories. Because just like all my guests this week, you too can be a part of the solution when you tap into that greatness within and bring it out for all of us to experience. Thank you for watching this week, y'all. And for me, until Monday at 11 a.m., peace. Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.